Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another lecture dito sa Social Psychology. For today, we are going to talk about part 2 of my chapter 4 lecture on David Myers' textbook sa Social Psychology. Remember, ang title ng chapter niya is on behavior and attitude. In the previous lecture, yung part 1, I focused more on how attitude shapes our social behaviors. Marami akong mga examples na binigay doon on how this framework works. So, one way para maintindihan mo yung behaviors ng ibang tao in the social world is to trace those social behaviors in their attitude towards those social behaviors. Again, the discussion on this framework, panoorin niyo yung part 1 of my lecture on behavior and attitude. So, since this is part 2, ang kakaiba ngayon, babalik na rin natin yung discussion. This time, I am going to discuss how social behaviors influence attitudes. Baliktad. Kita nyo? Yan. Attitude to social behaviors. Previous lecture. Today, balik na rin natin how our social behaviors can shape our social attitudes. Now, if you read the book by Myers, ang sinasabi niya, meron daw dalawang process na nangyayari how our social behaviors shape our attitude. Yan yung i-discuss ko in this lecture. Number 1, we will talk about self-perception theory, also known as outward motions. Mamaya, papaliwanag ko bakit outward motions yung tawag sa self-perception theory. And number 2, foot in the door. So these two social psychology concepts explain kung papaano yung behaviors natin ang nakaka-shape sa social attitudes natin. Okay? So let's move on to number 1, self-perception theory. According to self-perception theory, actions that you do will shape the attitude that you will believe. Now, this is one of the most old school theories in the field of social psych. If you want to read more on this, punta lang kayo sa Google Scholar, i-type nyo lang self-perception theory, ang dami mga papers na lalabas that discuss self-perception theory. But in layman's terms, ito yung pinaka-simple na definition ng self-perception theory: actions that you do will shape the attitude that you will believe. It starts with actions. Yung mga bagay na lagi nating ginagawa as a habit, meron siyang power para maimpluwensyahan kung ano yung mga pinaniniwalaan natin. Kaya yan tinawag na outward motions. Bakit siya outward motions? Consider what Aristotle said in connection to self-perception theory. Ang sabi niya, how can a person become just? Paano mo mabubuo yung attitude of being a just person? What does he answer? You need to practice being just. You see that? Behaviors will form your attitude. Paano ka magkakaroon ng just attitude? By doing just actions. Kaya siya tinawag na outward motions. You go with the flow. You go with the motion of being just. You end up believing that being just is correct. Paano ka raw magkakaroon ng attitude on self-control? By exercising self-control. Behaviors will shape your attitude. Paano ka raw magkakaroon o paano ka magiging courageous? How can you make yourself believe that being courageous is good? By performing acts of courage. Nagigets ninyo? Behaviors will influence our attitudes. And how do we do that? By doing outward motions. We start with the action. We practice justice. We exercise self-control. We perform courage so that we become people whose attitude towards justice, self-control, and courage is positive. Kaya ka naging just, kaya ka naniniwala sa self-control, kaya ka naging courageous. Bakit? You started with doing those things. Just actions lead to you being a just person. Okay, so on and so forth. Ganun din sa self-control and sa courage. Maganda rin yung quotable quote ni William James, no, about this. Sabi niya, if we wish to conquer undesirable emotional tendencies in ourselves, listen to this, very important, we must cold-bloodedly go through the outward motions, dyan ko kinuha yung term kanina, of those contrary dispositions we prefer to cultivate. Medyo malalim, no? Babawin natin. Let's simplify it. Halimbawa, takot ka. Okay? Takot ka. Naniniwala ka na takot ka sa isang bagay. That's your attitude. Now, how can you change that attitude? By starting in your behavior. Kung gusto mong mapalitan yung attitude mo na takot ka, you act as if hindi ka takot. Diba? You behave as if you are courageous, act as if, as you can see on the slide, ano mangyayari? That will slowly change your attitude. Maya-maya, yung I am so scared will become I am not scared. That's how powerful behaviors are in influencing our attitude. Pero yung mga pinakita ko mga example, mga quotable quotes lang yan, galing kay William James and Aristotle, are these even scientific statements? If we talk about modern day social psychology, do we have proof? Do we have data to show na tama nga yung sinasabi nila that our behaviors can influence our attitudes? Meron. And one of the strongest lines of research on this has something to do with smiling. If you want to read more about this, no, ang pangalan ng lines of research na to is called the facial feedback hypothesis. One of the most popular hypothesis in social psych. Wherein, ang sinasabi ng hypothesis is whenever you feel sad, nalulungkot ka, you feel depressive feelings, ang first aid dyan is you smile. Yes, you fake your smile. You smile as if you're not depressed. You smile as if you are happy. Ano mangyayari? Eventually, that smile, magsisend yan ng feedback sa psyche natin, believing that maybe we are happy because we are doing something happy such as smiling. And that feedback will improve your condition. Bababa yung depressive symptoms mo. You will feel warmer. You will feel happier. Bakit? You started with the behavior of smiling. Yun ang tinatawag na facial feedback hypothesis at ang dami-daming mga data, evidences that indeed this works. So magandang application to for those of you na once in a while nakaka-experience kayo ng sadness, you feel blue, you feel alone, you feel sad. First aid, para hindi kayo kainin ng buong-buo ng sadness ninyo is to smile as if you're not sad. Although it's a little bit hard to do, no? Kasi talagang malungkot ka eh. Pero may mga evidences talaga that show that when you start with a smile, you smile as if you're not sad, eventually your attitude, your emotions will follow. This is a good article to read in connection to what I'm saying. Screenshot nyo, i-Google Scholar nyo, and then you read the entire article. Pinapresent sa article na to yung mga ebidensya na talagang totoo nga, effective nga, yung pag-i-smile that will influence your overall emotions. Behavior influencing your attitude. Okay? Now, given all these things I'm saying about outward motions, about self-perception theory, ano ang possible application nito? Let me give you one example. Let's say in the workplace. Lalong-lalo na malapit na kayo graduate, pagpasok nyo ng trabaho, very applicable to. Itong self-perception theory. Consider this case. Let me zoom in and then you read it on your own. Meron kang boss. Common issue to sa mga working people. Yung boss mo ayaw mo. Pero wala ka namang choice. Hindi ka makaalis kasi kailangan mo ng trabaho. Wala ka namang malilipatan. O ano ang pwede mong gawin para more or less you can help yourself deal with your boss that you don't like. Diba? Kasi at some point, you will feel trapped when you are in this situation. Pero buti na lang, psych major ka, alam mo ang social psychology, alam mo ang self-perception theory, behaviors can influence your attitude. What can you do? Pause this video if you like and then think. I-apply ninyo kung ano yung magandang gawin, in this situation in connection to self-perception theory. And then you just continue the video kapag naisip nyo na ano yung magandang gawin. Okay? So, again, whenever you are faced in this situation, maaalala mo na naman yung sinabi ni William James. What's that? Outward motions. Your behaviors will shape your attitude. Ano ba ang attitude mo dito? Ayaw mo yung boss mo. At yun yung gusto mong mapalitan. Gusto mo yung maging attitude mo, okay naman pala yung boss mo. So how can you use self-perception theory? You start with your behavior. Huwag mong antayin na yung attitude mo yung magbabago because most likely, hindi magbabago yan. Kung ayaw mo yan, ayaw mo yan. So what do? You start with your behavior. So how do you translate that? You act as if. You act as if you like your boss. Okay? Yan yung sinasabi ni William James dito. Gawin mo ng gawin o act as if, mag-pretend ka, gumawa ka ng mga behaviors showing that you like your boss, eventually, anong sinasabi ng self-perception theory? Ang ending niyan, maya-maya naniniwala ka na gusto mo talaga yung boss mo. That's what self-perception theory is saying, and again, we have evidences that this work. So in connection to self-perception theory, yan ang dapat gawin dito sa ganyang situation. Tiisin mo yung boss mo, ignore mo muna yung attitude mo, even if you don't feel like doing it, you need to do it. Act as if you like your boss, no? Mag-submit ka sa kanya, ipagtimpla mo siya ng kape, sundin mo lahat ng sinasabi niya, hanapin mo yung mga good qualities niya. The more you do those behaviors, hindi mo lang namamalayan, unti-unti yung attitude mo towards your boss begin to change. Kaya nga, in connection to that, in giving further support to this strategy, this is a very good article to read that supports self-perception theory. Ano ang sinasabi ng study na to? Na ang mga relationships, human relationships, it survives because of the behaviors that we do in the relationship. You read this entire article. Yan, maganda to. Attraction and Initiation of Relationships, a Review of Empirical Literature. Basically, ang sinasabi ng article na to is, what makes relationships survive? When you sustain the passion in the relationship. But how do you sustain the passion in the relationship? Through the behaviors, through the actions that you do in the relationships. Para masustain nyo yung attitude nyo towards each other, that you like each other, you love each other, anong gagawin mo? Dapat idadaan mo yun sa behavior. Kaya nga, that explains why, for some couples, feeling nila parang wala na silang spark in their relationship. Sino nakaka-relate dyan? Have you experienced this before? You are in a relationship, tapos ang tagal-tagal nyo na, parang nawawala na yung spark. Ano ang sagot ng self-perception theory? Bakit nangyayari yan? Most likely, nagkukulang na yung mga behaviors na ginagawa nyo for each other. You have become complacent. Masyado na kayo, sa Tagalog, nakampante sa isa't isa, na hindi nyo na ninonurture yung relationship ninyo via the behaviors that you do for each other. That's how self-perception theory will explain it. Specifically, ano yung mga behaviors na most likely hindi nyo na ginagawa sa isa't isa kaya nawawala na yung spark ninyo? Hindi na kayo nagkikiss, hindi na kayo naghahag, hindi mo na hinahatid, sundo yung partner mo, hindi mo na siya ipinagluluto, hindi ka na nakikinig sa kanya, hindi mo na siya dinedate. You see? Ang problema, ito yung pagkain, ito yung source, ito yung reason why human relationships prosper. Yan yung point ng article na to if you read it. The behaviors that you do in your relationships will determine the attitudes that you will have towards each other. Kaya feeling nyo wala ng spark, nagkukulang kayo sa behaviors na dapat nyong ginagawa to sustain the relationship. Kaya nga inline to sa idea na ang human relationships is something that you nurture. Inaalagaan na parang halaman. Hindi yan yung araw-araw ini-enjoy mo lang yung relationship mo with someone na wala kang ginagawa. It takes work. It takes hard work. It takes efforts. Yan yung sinasabi ng self-perception theory. 'Di ba? You start with your behavior to sustain or to even change your attitude. Kaya going back to that case, again, kung ayaw mo yung boss mo at gusto mong mapalitan yung attitude mo sa boss mo na negative, what do? Act as if. Treat your boss as if you like him. Maya-maya, gusto mo na talaga yung boss mo. That's how powerful our actions are in shaping the things that we believe in. Another good support in connection to this, yung pagpipretend na gusto mo yung isang tao. Very common ito, sa showbiz. 'Di ba? Yung nagkukunwari sila na nagkukunwari sila na mag-boyfriend girlfriend sila kahit hindi. Pero anong nangyayari habang tumatagal? Habang nare-reinforce yung pagiging love team nila, kahit hindi naman talaga sila couple, maya-maya nagkakatotoo na yung feelings nila for each other. So yung kunwari, wrong spelling pa ako dito, yung kunwari nagiging totoo na. Yan yung prediction ng self-perception theory. O kaya nga meron ditong quote, pwede ba tayong magkunwaring mahal natin ng isa't isa, tapos totohanin na lang natin pag naniwala na sila? O, ang comment ko dyan, hindi mo na kinakailangan antayin na maniwala sila na kayo na. Baka sa sobrang pagpipretend nyo na mahal nyo ang isa't isa, powerful behaviors will shape your attitude to each other. Bago pa sila maniwala na kayo, baka kayo na talaga. So let's not underestimate the power of our behaviors, no, in shaping our attitude. Yan ang sinasabi ng self-perception theory. Okay? So let me give you some other applications of self-perception theory, also known as outward motions. Again, ulitin ko, paulit-ulit ako, anong ibig sabihin ng self-perception theory? This is the theory that explains how our actions can shape our attitude. Okay? Application number 1, pwede nyo itong gamitin for your spiritual lives. For those of you na dati-rate, you are so passionate about God. Nung high school ka, talagang love na love mo ang Diyos. You are so religious. You always pray. You always read the Bible. You always go to fellowships. Pero ngayon parang napapansin mo na wala na. Parang wala na yung passion mo for spiritual things. Ano ang sagot sa'yo ng self-perception theory? Why is that happening? Remember this framework, behavior shapes your attitude. So anong pagbibintangan mo? Bakit nawala yung passion mo towards spiritual things? Because you are not doing godly things anymore that you used to do before. Hindi mo na-sustain yung passion mo for spiritual things because you stopped doing spiritual things. Hindi ka na kasi nagpe-pray, hindi ka na nagfe-fellowship, hindi ka na nakikinig sa godly music, hindi ka na nag-share ng God's word, hindi ka na nagsisimba. You get the point. You stop all these behaviors that you used to do. Kaya ang naging epekto niyan, humina yung passion mo towards spiritual things. Diba? O, kaya ang good news dyan, meron dyang gamot. Meron dyang solution. If you want to revive your spiritual energy, anong gagawin mo? If you stop doing these things, do you do these things again? Ganun lang kasimple yon according to self-perception theory. Diba? Kaya humina ang spirituality, you stop doing this. So you start doing this again. Ano ang hypothesis? Most likely tataas ulit yung iyong spiritual interest. Diba? Now, in connection to this, no, this also explains why in some religions, this also explains in Christianity, no? In Christianity, sinasabi that faith without works is dead. That's a very popular Christian teaching. Makikita mo yung self-perception theory dito, and now you understand why. Bakit faith without works is dead? Kasi faith without works means you stop doing this, leading to lower levels of spirituality. Talagang madededs yung faith mo the moment you stop doing spiritual things. Alright? So again, baka ma-misinterpret nyo ako dito, hindi ako nagko-convert na paniwalaan nyo to. Ano? Ang sinasabi ko dito, ang pinapakita ko dito, na itong statement na to is in line with what self-perception theory is saying. That it's very important that if you believe in God, you need to be doing godly things. You need works for you to sustain your passion for spiritual matters. Nagigets ninyo? Okay? Application number 2. Apply this theory, self-perception theory in human relationships. Inulit ko na kanina to, sinabi ko na. Diba? Ano ang magandang gawin for you to sustain your relationships? Never stop doing the small things that will sustain your relationships. Naalala ko dito yung movie na napanood ko. Nako, ayoko maging spoiler dito, but it's a very good movie entitled Rewind. 'Di ba ang main character dito si John. Binigyan siya ng second chance ni God to live again with his wife. Nako, baka maging spoiler na ako dito, so I will just stop right there. 'Di ba? Pero bottom line, when John was given a second chance to be with his wife, ano ang binago niya? For those of you who watch, anong binago niya? The way he treated his wife. Because the movie started where John talagang wala na siyang passion for his marriage. Pero may nangyari. Yun yung panonoorin nyo, ano yung nangyari, that he was given a second chance. And when he woke up, in that second chance, anong una niyang binago? To revive his passion for his wife, for his family, the behaviors that he took for granted before. Talagang nagtodo effort si John in his second chance being with his family. Kaya tatandaan nyo, no, in connection to self-perception theory, effort is the food of human relationships. Imagine niyo yung mga relationships nyo, mga pets nyo yan. Kailangan dyan pinapakain para maging malakas, para masustain yung existence. Anong pinapakain dapat natin sa mga relationships natin? With our parents, with our friends, with our colleagues, para ma-nurture effort, behaviors. Kausapin mo, kamustahin mo, spend time with them. There are times, bigyan mo naman ng regalo. Diba? Yan yung mga bagay na bumubuhay sa relationships. And that's also the reason why may mga relationships tayo in the past na parang namatay na. Diba? Nawala na. Bakit? Anong explanation nun? Bakit nawala na yung sigla ng relationship mo with someone? Because you have stopped nurturing the relationship with that person. Hindi ka na nag-e-effort. Hindi ka na gumagawa ng mga behaviors that would have sustained your relationship with that person. Kaya namatay yung relationship. Diba? Kaya isa pang support dito, no, that effort is the food of human relationships. That's the reason why ang hirap ma-sustain ng long-distance relationships. According to studies, ang taas ng mortality rate ng long-distance relationships. Most likely kapag LDR ka, hindi magsasucceed. Take note, sinabi ko most likely. Hindi ko sinabi sure ball kasi meron din namang mga LDR na nagpo-prosper. So meron din naman nagiging successful pero super konti. Mas marami pa rin yung nagfe-fail. And now we understand why. According to self-perception theory, bakit? Kasi kapag long distance ang relationships, it's so hard to feed, quote-unquote, the relationship. Hindi mo mabigyan ng behaviors yung karelasyon mo in an LDR. Hindi mo siya makis, hindi mo siya mahag, hindi mo siya mahatid sundo, hindi mo siya maipagluto kasi nga malayo. Nasa Vito Cruz ka, nasa Canada siya. Paano? Kaya, ang ending na nagugutom, nag-i-starve yung relationship niyo to the point na namamatay. Kaya studies have shown, no, na if you want to sustain or if you want successful relationship, kailangan one of the things that you secure is merong proximity. We will talk about that in the psychology of human attraction. Malaki ang advantage mo kapag malapit kayo sa isa't isa. Kasi pag malapit kayo sa isa't isa, it's easier to sustain the relationships through the behaviors. Okay? So, ang daming application ng self-perception theory na yan in connection to how our actions can shape our attitude. Alright? Now, let's move on to number 2, foot in the door. This is another way how our behaviors can shape our social attitudes. Let's start with a case. I-zoom in ko. Yan. So, my example here is again, very religious in nature. Pero it happens in our everyday life. Ginagamit ng maraming mga religions itong approach na to, no, in connection to foot in the door. Okay? So, basically, ang bottom line lang dito sa case is, meron kang kaibigan who does not believe in religion. He does not even believe in God. But you want this person to be open to the ideas of your religion. So, ano ang magandang gawin? Para mangyari yan, gamitan mo ng foot in the door technique. Anong ibig sabihin ng foot in the door technique? This is a social strategy where the granting of small request has the effect of changing a person's attitude. Got that? So, yung behavior dito, nandoon sa granting of small request. Meron kang mga ipapagawa sa isang tao na pakonti-konti. And the more this person does those things, yung mga pakonti-konti niyang ginagawa, ang sasabihin ng foot in the door is, unti-unti yung attitude niya towards what he or she is doing, magbabago. Para mas malinaw, let me give you a real research example that supports foot in the door technique, yung study ni Pilner. So si Pilner, nagkaroon siya ng social experiment in connection to Cancer Society. Nagsosolicit siya ng donations for people with cancer. So ang goal niya, syempre, makakuha siya ng mga money para maibibigay niya doon sa mga tinutulungan ng Cancer Society. Now, in this social experiment, he used 2 approaches in soliciting money from people. The first approach was yung direct solicitation. Paano yung direct solicitation? E di lalapitan niya yung mga potential na magbibigay ng donations and then directly sasabihin niya, can you please donate for the Cancer Society? You will be helping a lot of people by donating. Yun yung direct solicitation. By using that approach, 46% ng in-approach niya ang nagbigay. Not bad. Pero meron siyang second approach na itetest. Yung approach na yan, ginamitan niya ng foot in the door. So how does that differ? Ito yung second approach, no? Ang ginawa niya, in-approach niya muna yung mga tao na potentially magbibigay ng donation. But, again, when he approached these people, hindi niya kaagad hiningan ng donation. Meron lang muna siyang pinagawang small behavior to these people he approached. Specifically, what did he ask them to do? Wear a cancer pin as a support for people suffering from cancer. So, approach lang niya, excuse me, you have time? Can you please just wear this cancer pin for me? And when you do wear this, you are supporting the people suffering from cancer. Just to show support. It will be a big help for them when they see you wearing this pin. Yun. So, hindi muna kaagad siya humingi. May pinagawa muna siyang small behavior. And then, the next day, kinontak niya ulit yung mga binigyan niya ng pin. Siyempre, sa day 1, kinuha niya yung contact number, no, nung mga tao na binigyan niya ng pin. And then, that was the time. Day 2 was the time that he solicited donations from these people. O, diba? So, yung small request niya, yung wear cancer pin. Ano yung bigger request niya nung day 2? Doon na siya humingi ng donation. Can I get back the cancer pin I gave to you? At the same time, can you please donate some of your resources para sa mga taong may cancer? Ano ang naging resulta ng approach na yan? 88% of people gave. Ang laking difference niyan. Kumbaga, kung ititites independent mo yan, sa statistika, significant ang difference niyan, di ba? Ano yon, yung unang approach, 46% versus 88%, that's a very big improvement. Mas powerful talaga yung foot in the door than directly soliciting money. O, di ba? Yun yung magic ng foot in the door technique. And did you know that foot in the door technique is also the psychology behind fraternities? Bakit yung mga members ng fraternity hirap na umalis doon sa grupo nila? Bakit yung mga neophytes talagang hirap na tumalikod doon sa pinapasok nila even before initiation starts? Kasi yung sistema ng pagre-recruit ng mga tao within fraternity ginagamitan ng foot in the door. 'Di ba? When you join fraternities, anong gagawin doon sa mga applicants? Merong mga ipapagawa na small behaviors 'yan. I know this because when I was an undergrad in LaSalle, meron akong naging classmate na sumama sa fraternity. And I saw the different things that the fraternity asked him to do every week for 2 months. Until na mag-undergo na siya ng initiation. Hindi ko na lang sasabihin kung anong frat yun, no? Or ano yung mga pinagawa sa kanya, but he is being asked every week to do certain behaviors. Sige, bigyan ko kayo ng isa, no? Halimbawa, I remember that classmate of mine, there was a time for 1 straight week, he was asked to wear long sleeves, necktie, na naka-athletic shorts and rubber shoes. Now, during my time, ID 102 ako eh. During my time, oh my goodness, talagang super hindi accepted yung ganong way of dressing. But, wala eh. Yun yung pinapagawa sa kanya. Hindi siya makakapasok sa grupo na yan kung hindi niya gagawin yun. Okay? And some other things like that, pinagawa sa kanya for the next few weeks bago siya nag-undergo ng initiation. Now, nasa ng foot in the door doon? Yung mga small behaviors na yon, ano nangyayari? The more these applicants do those small behaviors, mas tumitibay ngayon yung paniniwala nila, yung attitude nila, that they will be joining the fraternity. Kung baga yung nagiging logic nila in that scenario is, ang dami ko nang nabigay, ang dami ko nang pinagdaanan dito, behaviors yon. Yun yung mga pinapagawa sa kanila. Ano ang epekto nun sa attitude nila? It's so hard for them to let go of the group. Paninindigan ko na. That's the attitude. Kaya hindi na sila atras kahit alam nilang masakit yung initiation day. Kahit alam nilang risky, pwede silang mamatay doon. Bakit? Hirap na hirap silang talikuran. Ang dami na nilang behaviors na nagawa Ngayon pa ba tayo aatras? Ang dami na nating investment dito. Ang dami na nating behavioral investment dito, huwag na tayong umatras. Yun ang social psychology of fraternity recruitment. Which by the way, dahil napag-uusapan na rin to, let me just remind everyone, huwag kayong sasama sa mga ganyang grupo. Please, no. Remember, meron kayong pinirmahan sa DLSU na hindi kayo sasama sa mga grupo na yan. Kung merong nagpe-pressure sa inyo na sumama sa mga grupo na yan, tinatakot-takot kayo, pag hindi kayo sumama, tell the authorities. Alright? Hindi mabuti yung mga ganyang grupo ha, please lang. I care a lot for my students, please. It will break my heart if something bad happens to you kasi sumama kayo sa mga grupong ganyan. Huwag kayo magpapa-foot in the door dyan. Okay? Another example of foot in the door technique is how vices develop. Kaway-kaway dyan yung may mga bisyo. Sino may mga bisyo dyan? Inom, sugal, kung ano-ano pa. Alam nyo ba, kaya nagde-develop ang bisyo sa tao, foot in the door yan. Nagsisimula ang bisyo sa paunti-unting pagtatry ng bisyo. Kaya nga that's one of the most powerful predictors why a person would be developing a full-blown vice na mahirap nang tanggalin, trying it out. And usually, those small instances that you try out the vice, it changes your attitude towards that vice. Dati-rati naman ayaw mo nagsusugal bakit ngayon, adik na adik ka na magsugal? Kasi, try ka ng sugal. Dati-rati ayaw mong umiinom, ayaw mong naninigarilyo. Bakit ngayon, naging alcoholic ka na? Naging chain smoker ka na, bakit? Kasi paulit-ulit mong tinatry. And the more you try these things, you are setting yourself up. You are shaping your attitude to actually like the things that you are trying. Nagigets ninyo? May kanta nga ako naalala in connection to that entitled Laklak. Old school song to. Ang kumanta yung The Teeth. Ang ganda nung line nung song, no? Sabi niya, nagsimula sa patikim-tikim, pinilit kong gustuhin. Pine-explain niya kung paano siya naging alcoholic, kung bakit hindi niya mahinto yung paglaklak ng alak. And based on the lines of the song, where did it start? Small behaviors. Patikim-tikim, small behaviors yan Anong ibig sabihin ng tikim? Konti lang. Tumikim ka konti lang nung Monday. Tumikim ka na naman konti lang nung Tuesday. Tumikim ka na naman ng konti lang nung Wednesday. So yung konti, pag samasamahin mo yan, ang dami na. At yung madami mo nang ininom na alak, it will change your attitude na after all, baka hindi naman pala masamang uminom. Maya-maya, gusto mo nang uminom. Kaya ang sabi niya sa dulo, bisyo'y nagsimulang lumalim, kaya ngayon ang hirap tanggalin. Where did it come from? The small behaviors that you did. Dati hate mo ang pag-inom, ngayon gusto mo na because you have been doing small behaviors in connection to drinking. Let's pause right now. Isip pa kayo ng ibang mga foot in the door techniques na ginagamit in the social world. Whether that's in sports, saan nagagamit yan sa advertising, saan ginagamit yan sa sales. Yan. Isip kayo ng 2 examples. And then you share it in the class. Alright? So, anyway, anong application ngayon nito? After everything I'm talking about foot in the door, ang pinaka-application nito is be careful what you start small. Mag-ingat tayo sa mga bagay na sinusubukan natin kahit konti lang. Remember those things that we try out. Yung mga small things na yan, it could be so powerful that later on, yung attitude natin doon sa sinusubukan natin, it becomes out of control, it eats us alive. Marami mga small things can become our habit. At ang masama dyan, kapag yung mga habit na yon nakakasama, nakakasira ng psychological life natin. Sabi nga ng author dito, no, you create small habits and they will add up to becoming changes. Yung changes na yan, it's talking about attitude. Dati-rating ayaw mo, ngayon love na love mo na. Adik ka na, hindi mo na mapakawalan. O, di ba? Now we understand why some religion practices religious exclusivity when it comes to relationships, 'di ba? Alam niyo naman 'yan, no, na may mga religion talagang sinasabi nila sa mga members nila, don't have a relationship with people of other religions. Huwag na tayo mag-deny-deny dyan, no? This is a common knowledge naman. Ang iglesia, bawal sa Katoliko. Ang Katoliko, as much as possible, huwag makipagrelasyon sa Buddhist. Ang Buddhist, huwag makipagrelasyon sa ganitong religion. Now we understand. Kasi, nag-a-apply dito yung foot in the door. Meron kasing tendency that if you are in a relationship with another person in faith, merong risk that one of you will change his or her attitude towards the faith. Ang tawag dyan in the literature is deconversion. Dating Kristiyano, naging Muslim. Dating Muslim, naging Buddhist. Dating Buddhist, naging Kristiyano. Eh, syempre, kung member ka ng isang religious group, gusto mo masustain yung faith ng mga members mo. Ayaw mo magdi-deconvert sila sa religion mo, pupunta sa iba. Eh, kailan ba nangyayari yon? Yun na nga. Kapag nakikipag-relationship ka with people of different faith. Kasi kapag nakipagrelasyon ka from people of different faith, may tendency that you will be trying out some of the behaviors that is being done in the different faith. And in so doing, baka magustuhan mo, edi nag-convert ka na sa ibang religion. Diba? Kaya si St. Paul, may ganyang idea din eh. Do not be yoked together with unbelievers, for what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness? Iniiwas ka sa bad influence na pwedeng ipatry sa'yo ng mga tao who are outside the faith. Yun yung point ni St. Paul dito. Hindi ka naman dating naninigarilyo. Hindi ka naman dating sexually promiscuous. Eh bakit naging ganun ka? Eh kasi yung karelasyon mo ganun. Mahilig manigarilyo. Sexually promiscuous. Tinatry out mo rin yung mga ginagawa niya, unti-unti, naging ganun ka na rin. Nagbago na yung attitude mo because of the things that you constantly do. Eh buti sana kung yung influence baliktad eh. 'Di ba? Yung mabuti yung naka-influence sa masama. Yung dati-rating mahilig manigarilyo, natigil na niya kasi na-impluwensyahan na siyang mag-Bible study. Yun, maganda sana yun. Pero mas malakas yata ang puwersa talaga ng ng worldly things. Mas malakas ang puwersa ng paninigarilyo, mas malakas ang puwersa ng alcoholism than the other way around. Now we understand why in some faiths they take this seriously. Talagang meron silang wall, religious exclusivity in connection to who you date para maiwasan yung deconversion. Alright? Yun yung foot in the door. Oops, let's not forget, meron pa tayong case na sinosolve. So going back to this case, now that we know foot in the door technique, anong gagawin natin? Gagamitan mo dapat ng foot in the door technique yan. And how do you do it? You start with small invitations until the person becomes hooked into doing these small behaviors. Magbabago na yung attitude niya towards the faith. And most churches use this. Okay? Again, hindi ko kayo kino-convert dito, hindi ko sinasabing maging Christian kayo in connection to this. No? Pinapakita ko lang how religious organizations use foot in the door. Okay? So again, paano ginagawa yan? Small invitations muna. Huwag mo kaagad i-challenge ng big effort. Nasabihin mo, oh, ikaw, hindi ka naniniwala na may Diyos. Ako naniniwala ako may Diyos. Magdebate tayo. Hindi ganon. That's not foot in the door. Baliktad. Ang tawag dyan, door in the face. Diba? Pero anyway, foot in the door, small invitations. Gradual muna. And how do you do this? Kung gagawin mong gradual to, invite mo muna na umattend ng Sunday service. Uy bro, alam ko namang hindi ka naniniwala sa Diyos, no? Pero why don't you just try it out? Ano lang, just sit in. You don't have to believe everything na mangyayari sa service. Just be there. Oh. Kapag nag-yes yan, yun na. You give another small invitation. Attend ka man ng prayer meeting. Uy, umattend ka man naman ng Bible study. Umattend ka naman ng baptism. And the more this person joins or does these activities, ano nangyayari? There's a higher chance na yung attitude niya towards the faith will begin to change. Of course, no, in the Christian language, lalong-lalo na if this process is guided by the Holy Spirit. Again, I'm not asking you to believe the Holy Spirit. Sinasabi ko lang that that's the way the Christian framework sees this. Alright? O, kaya marami na akong storya na narinig dyan eh. Again, ginagamit ito ng maraming mga religious organization. You start with small until it becomes big. No? I've heard so many stories like this. They started being an atheist hanggang sa somebody invited them into the church. Unti-unti nag-sink in yung mga doctrines, church doctrines within them, nagbago na yung attitude nila about atheism, naging theist na, naging youth leader na. Maya-maya, naging pastor na. Can you imagine that? From atheist becoming a pastor. Yes, that's possible through foot in the door. And just to be fair, the opposite is also true. Meron din namang mga tao galing sa religious organization, talagang die-hard Christian, na nadi-deconvert naman. Kasi sumama naman sa isang grupo na iba naman yung nangyayari. Nagigets ninyo? Oh. Nag-grant din sila ng mga smaller request from the group who does not believe in God. And the more they grant this request, nagiging baliktad yung process. From believing in God, maya-maya, hindi na. Alright? So either way, it works, no? Whether somebody converts to a religion or somebody deconverts from religion, pwedeng gamitan niya ng foot in the door. Alright? So let's pause right now and then you think, how can we use foot in the door for a better society? Magandang question to. Ano kaya yung mga pwede natin gawin na foot in the door para mas maging maayos yung Philippine society? How can we lower crime rate using foot in the door? Paano kaya mapapababa ang mga presyo ng bilihin using foot in the door? Kaya nyo ba isolve yun? Paano kaya magiging better yung choices ng mga Pilipino sa mga binoboto nila every elections using foot in the door? Yun. Isipin nyo yan. And then if you have anything, you can share it in class. Okay? So in summary, for today's lecture, ano pinag-usapan natin? How behaviors influence our attitude. There are two ways how to do this. Number one, we can use self-perception theory. And number two, we can use foot in the door. But more than this, ano ang pinaka-lesson na pwede nating magamit in our everyday life in connection to how behaviors influence our attitude? Sana na-realize nyo based on my lecture that every behaviors, every habits that we have determine the quality of our psyche. Let's not underestimate the habits that we develop. Whether or not your life will be fruitful or miserable, diyan nakadepende yan sa klase ng mga habits na nade-develop natin sa mga sarili natin. A large chunk of where we are right now in life, whether maganda yung buhay natin or pangit ang buhay natin, nakadepende kasi yan sa mga habits na na-develop natin. Kaya naalala ko yung book ni James Clear in connection to habit formation, how behavior influences our mind. I highly recommend basahin nyo yung Atomic Habits. This is a very good book that explains how to form good behaviors that will help you shape healthy attitudes. Ang pinaka-thesis ng libro is your identity, who you are, where you're gonna be in life, highly depends on the actions that you consistently do every day. Kahit anong pagpapalit mo ng damit, kahit anong pagpapalit mo ng philosophy sa buhay, if you will not start with actions, wala rin. Real change, real positive change that you want for your life starts with positive change in your actions. Don't wait for emotions to change you. What do? You start doing actions that will change your identity. So kung tamad ka, gusto mong maging masipag, anong gagawin mo? Mag-develop ka ng habits na ginagawa ng mga masisipag. You start there. Kahit tinatamad ka, magsipag ka. Gawin mo yan everyday. Maya-maya tinan mo, yung identity mo, masipag ka na. Alright? Kaya nga, ang application dito is, if habits are so powerful in influencing who we are, in influencing the quality of our life, we have to evaluate our everyday habits. Dapat i-check natin, are we or do we have healthy habits? How are your habits doing? Ito, medyo personal question to, no? Pero later on, gagawin natin tong macro. But before we go macro, ito muna, mag-reflect kayo. How's the quality of your life right now? Is it good? Is it not good? And for those of you who say it's not good and you want to make it better, gusto mong mag-upgrade yung quality of life mo, you check your habits. Because most likely, according to the lecture today, kaya hindi ka satisfied sa quality ng buhay mo ngayon, meron kang mga unhealthy habits. And the good news is, you can let go of unhealthy habits and develop healthier habits. How are your spiritual habits? That's the first one. What are your habits that connect you with your Creator? How is it doing? How are your social habits? Nino-nurture mo ba yung mga relationships mo sa mga tao na nakapaligid sa'yo? How are your personal habits? Do you have healthy habits towards your health, towards your emotions, towards your finances? O gastos ka ng gastos araw-araw, Starbucks ka ng Starbucks, kaya ka hindi nakakaipon. It's about time to change those habits, right? How is your existential habits? How do you manage your time? How do you use your time? Ginagamit mo ba yung oras mo in accordance to your purpose or calling in life? That's the best way to handle time, ha? Tandaan nyo yan. The healthiest way how to use your time is to use your time in connection to your purpose in life. Ang problema, kung hindi mo alam yung purpose mo sa buhay. Kaya maraming mga tao nagsasayang ng oras because they are doing things that have nothing to do with what their purpose is. So if you want to upgrade your life, you have to start with your purpose. Ano yung purpose mo? Ano yung life mission mo? And then from there, you determine the things that you're gonna do every day, leading you to develop healthier habits in terms of how you manage your time. Now, let's go macro. Ito, sabi ko, mga personal, di ba? Oh, when it comes to the Philippine society, because after all, this is social psychology, right? Ano kaya yung mga social habits ng mga Pilipino that we can connect to our overall mental health? Kamusta kaya yung spiritual habits ng mga Pilipino? Kamusta yung mga social habits ng mga Pilipino? Yung personal habits ng mga Pilipino? Yung existential habits ng mga Pilipino? Kamusta kaya? Because again, what's my point here? In connection to my lecture today, the kinds of habits that we do determine the attitudes that we will have that will drive where we will be in our everyday life. So tingin nyo ba in general ang mga Pilipino, okay ba yung mga habits natin? Pwede mo ngang i-relate yung statistics na yan sa issue na yan. Hindi kaya the reason why marami mga Pilipino ngayon poor ang mental health, ang dami-dami mga psychological issues, maybe because poor ang social habits. Meron tayong maraming unhealthy habits in connection to these domains of our lives. Spirituality, relationships, personal, existential. At anong epekto? Because of those unhealthy habits, our mental health suffers. Ayan. Yan yung numbers all over the world. In average, kung ilang tao ang merong mga mental health issues, pataas ng pataas ang trend, especially the young ones. Diba? At ako naniniwala and we have data for this, that one of the reasons kung bakit ang mga Pilipino maraming unhealthy habits in connection to this, spirituality, relationships, personal, existential, kasi usong-usong ngayon yung materialism. It is a philosophy in life that gives so much emphasis on material things. Ang pinaka dapat habulin, pera. Maging masaya ka by being the best in the world. Dapat ikaw ang pinakamayaman, dapat ikaw ang pinakamalaki ang kondo, dapat ikaw yung pinakalaging napopromote, dapat ikaw yung pinakasikat. Materialism teaches us to run after worldly things. And the more we follow what materialism is teaching us to do, remember, behavior and attitude, ano nangyayari? We develop unhealthy habits that leads to unhealthy attitudes. Oh. Kaya ako sa tingin ko, ang daming mga unhealthy habits ng mga tao ngayon in connection to these domains. As a result of materialism shaping our behaviors that influence our attitudes. Oh, and by the way, for those of you, baka sabihin nyo na naman, invento ko na naman to, marami tayong data dyan. Studies after studies have shown that the more you subscribe to the teachings of materialism, the more you do what materialistic people do, the more lumalagpak ang mental health mo. Behaviors are so powerful in influencing your attitude, and your attitude will determine your altitude in life. Yan yung connect niyan. Sana nakukuha ninyo. Pero ang good news, let's not end with the bad note here, no? Ang good news dito is, if being a materialistic person is a habit, it can easily be undone. Pwede mo i-counter condition yung sarili mo from being a materialistic person, baliktarin mo, from materialistic, you become spiritual. After all, we are spiritual beings, we have spiritual needs, yun yung dapat nating pinaprioritize. Giving first the most important things that you need as a spiritual being. In that way, your personal life will improve, our overall society as Filipinos will improve. Yun nga lang, ang problema, malakas talaga ang puwersa ng materialism. Ang hirap talunin yan. But hopefully, in the future, it can be done. Alright? So that ends my lecture about behavior and attitude, part 2. Sana marami kayong natutunan. If you have any questions or other realizations about this topic, just share it to the class. Have a great day, everyone. Sir Howard here. God bless. Bye-bye.